part of all that information that's out there, right?
Yep.
So this isn't anymore about where to get the information. You know, gyms are out there that cost $10 a month. Hey,
Yep.
Blink, I love Blink and Planet Fitness and all those. So now it's even more affordable to go to the gym.
Right.
However, we as a country are getting fatter.
Yep.
Year by year. So there's a disconnect, as you said earlier, about what that is. And what I try to talk about in the book, along with, you know, the delicious recipes for lunch, protein shakes, sandwiches, what to cook in 20 minutes and under, all of the recipes. So I try to of course, address the immediate, which is what to put on the table.
Right.
But in addition to that, it's about finding out what you believe. What do you believe about food? And this is the questions I ask my clients. And you'd be surprised, nobody really has a belief about food. A clear, defined, written out message about what they believe about food. And you remember my grandmother used to say, and I'm sure you heard this, if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for everything.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing with food. If you don't have a belief about food, when these moments come up about, you know, eating this or eating that, going out to eat, family vacations. I know plenty of people who like, you know, I went on a cruise and I gained 15 pounds. Well, okay, that was nice. But when you return back from these cruises or from these outings where you get to eat what you want,
right,
how are you feeding your body? And that has to come from a sense of belief. And I walk the persons through the book on how to help them define what they believe about food. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a clear definition about what you believe about food, you will gain the weight back, and weight loss doesn't really begin to be this thing that's sustainable.
Well said. And you know, my thing too is, as a coach, I try to find out from them where they are out of balance at in their life. So are they out of balance in their relationships? Are they out of balance in their spirituality? Are they out of balance in their career? Are they out of balance in their lifestyle? So the lifestyle is their eating, their exercise or lack of exercise, drinking, lack of sleep, stress, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times what I see, if like how you say, is when you're out of balance in something, you tend to, a lot of us are emotional eaters. So we tend to feed ourselves as comfort, feed or drink as comfort, where we out of balance at. So I'll use me as an example. Because I had lost almost as much as you. So I had lost like 60 to 70 pounds. I had got to a point, I had moved down here and I was eating wings, I was drinking beer, you know, watching sports. I was going to the gym, but you can't out exercise a bad diet. And I was stressed out, you know, through work, because I worked in corporate at the time. And so the stress of work made me eat. So I was traveling a lot. I was stressed out from work. So I would eat and drink, eat and drink. Till I got so big. I was like, you said 42 for you. I was pushing 42. I wasn't always there yet, but I was pushing there. But at the time,
I was 44 in my heavy, yeah.
I was getting there. And at the time, it was so bad that, you know, I didn't see a problem with it, because like I was still getting girls, all this kind of stuff. So I was still getting the attention. So I didn't have a need to go ahead and try to do anything different until my back started hurting.
There you go.
And my back started hurting, and I was going to a chiropractor, and it would work for that short period of time, but then that next week I needed it again. And he was so cool and so nice. He really didn't want to tell me the truth, which was that I was fat and that it wasn't going to get no better until I lost some weight. And so I had that final aha moment to like say, okay, I can't keep having back problems. So I'm going to start losing some weight. And I changed how I ate. You know, I started eating healthier, you know, cut down on the drinking, cut down on going out to eat. I started cooking more, making my own smoothies, all that kind of stuff. And that's how I like dropped the weight. And I started teaching classes, and that helped me drop the weight. And that what I saw was I started feeling better about myself, because I'm getting back to my normal size. But then I think another part that we have to get past too is, you know, other people's insecurity. of
Mm-hmm.
you or I as we go through this journey of losing weight, because you might have, if you dating a guy or you dating a young lady, and they might be feeling like, okay, but Kenny, I'm not concerned about Kenny cheating on me because he's
Mm-hmm.
270 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? But
I do
now
know.
Kenny is 195 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and now everybody looking at him. So now that
Mm-hmm.
insecurity feeds that part, and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you, we like people who with some meat in their bones. We don't want you to get too
Mm-hmm.
slim, so it becomes
Mm-hmm.
very selfish. It's
Mm-hmm.
about them. It's not about what's best for you, the person. So how did you get
Right.
past that part as well?
Yeah, I want to do a whole nother book called, this is my first book now, and push this baby out. I'm doing another one, but hopefully I could be by the end of the year, called What's Eating You,
Mm-hmm.
where I kind of talk about that. I put up, for example, I put up a picture of Transformation Tuesday, pictures of me big and one me small,
Mm-hmm.
and almost all the women's like, I like both pictures. So that's amazing to me that, you know what I mean? So we unpack that a little bit. We're talking about a cultural
Mm-hmm.
um, acceptance of weight and what that represents. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? For me, one of the hardest thing, and I may have shared this the last time I was on the show with you. I'm from a big church background, big
Yeah.
Southern church, and with that being said, I in real time, like we used to go after church to all you can eat places. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And when I changed my diet and I started telling my boys I was eating with, I was like, look, I can't go to those places anymore. And they started because I overeat. I know it's my trigger. If I see that much food, I'm gonna eat it.
Right.
And so I sold it, and then they appeased me like one or two times. And then after church, I would come outside, and they had already left because they wanted to eat where they wanted to. So in very real time, as a man, relationships were being negotiated around me because I was trying to be my best.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I talked about earlier, where I spoke about, defining what you believe. I didn't have a belief system. It was just more of a guiding internal thing at that time before I defined it a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this sense of, regardless of what anybody says, the people around me, good or bad, I have to be connected to what I believe for me,
Right.
what God has for me.
Right.
And that kind of gives you the inner strength. You're still going to take some knocks and some punches because we're people and we want to be around people. I tell the women in my who come to my classes who are mothers who have to cook food for their kids, but it's very hard not to eat the nuggets and the same food you give your kids. Or a husband, as you say, saying to you, look, you can lose some weight, but I don't want you to get too small. I don't like no skinny girl.
Right.
What if you really heard that from your partner? How would you negotiate that? Because what you hear is, don't be your best.
Right.
Don't look and lose the weight and be your best. And so what I want to say, and if hopefully the people out there can get it, is basically learning. I've learned two things with this weight loss journey and doing what I do. Learning, to stand in the light,
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to be the light.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean no who kind of, focusy hallelujah kind of stuff. I'm talking about literally being comfortable in your own skin about living your best life.
Right.
And doing that through food. And then having that light, people be attracted to that because like you, like me, there's energies that still make me feel uncomfortable because I've been big at least most of my adult life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are now working out and people start to see you, quote unquote, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to be comfortable standing in that light and standing in your truth about who you are and what you come to do and what your purpose is. And so I would say it is a daily process for me to feel comfortable and stay comfortable in life. All I can tell you is that it is way better on this side than when I was heavy.
I agree. I do agree. So
and look at you. Like, I don't know if you would have did a show like you're doing right now if you had stayed that guy.
No.
It was your journey, right? It was your journey of weight loss and finding out how to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
Putting in place a system for how you eat and how you exercise and showing up for yourself. And that is what attracts the things and the opportunities and the people that we're supposed to have in our life for the right season, for the right time.
Absolutely, because I think that's part of the problem too. Is the fear of losing the people, because you changing, like how you changed, and the people in your church group, you know,
Mm-hmm.
didn't want you to change
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't willing to change. So then
Mm-hmm.
therefore
Yes.
they want the old version of Kenny and not the new version of Kenny. And so that a lot of times I think people are fearful of, you know, being like standing in the light and being who they are at this moment, in fear of losing those people. But I think all relationships are purposeful. So then therefore, you know, the purpose of some of those people that was in your life at that moment, it may have ended to a certain extent because now you're a different
Mm-hmm.
person. And they all can't
Mm-hmm.
go along with you in that journey because they all not ready to
Right.
be part of that journey. And so I
Well, that
think,
first fear. Yeah. Go ahead.
and so I just think that's the biggest problem. The fear of losing people is what prevents people from being their best self. What you think?
Right. I'll go back a little further. I'll go back. The first fear is within yourself. The first fear of me, because the overeating, the eating of the food, is just a representation that something internally is going on, something that
Yep.
hasn't been addressed, something that's broken.
Exactly.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's broken. And so, with that being said, I was fearful about finding out what that was before I decided to lose the weight,
Yep.
before I decided to be all that I can be and live my best life.
Yep.
It started with me being open, and I would say all to the people out there who are on this journey, you're brave for being brave enough to address what's going on with you.
Exactly.
And so yes, those friends, some I gained some and lost some, but most importantly, I gained myself. And I think once you start to lose the weight and start to show up for yourself, the fear, it doesn't go away, but it starts to be in the distance,
Mm-hmm.
in your mind and in your thoughts. And because you start to see the proof of how showing up for yourself, starting first with the food that's on your plate, you
Right.
start to see the rewards of that. You know what I mean? And fear is just a construct of our mind and our thinking. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's of the unknown. I knew who Kenny was. I knew 265 pound Kenny. I knew him. I knew him for years. I knew where he liked to eat at. I knew how he liked to dress. I
Mm-hmm.
knew how he liked to hide. I knew how he, I knew what date to go for. I knew my place. I didn't go for a 10 because I wasn't a 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you start to, this person, these behaviors, all this dysfunction in the heavy when you're struggling with being overweight more than this unknown person that you're striving for.
Mm-hmm.
So the first fear you have to address is within yourself. And you asked me about that aha moment. I'll just say this: my aha moment was, okay, food seems to be my drug of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was about turning the energy, because all we're talking about is energy right now.
Yep.
Okay, turning the energy around to, okay, all right, Lord, I'm not supposed to eat all the food.
Right.
I'm supposed to cook it, and I'm supposed to let it be a part of my journey and share that with others. And so I would just say to people out there who are struggling with their weight, I don't think it's by chance that you chose food. Because I know some people are just like, you know what, I don't really like food. I just eat. They really don't love food like I love food.
Right.
But they eat or have bad exercising habits and the weight comes.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, what I want to say, out of all the drugs out there, and there are a lot, and food is a drug.
Mm-hmm.
When you do anything, when it starts to put your life and your choices in a discomforting kind of situation, it's a drug.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And food was my drug of choice. And so I had to ask myself, and I want to ask your viewers, why are you finding it hard to show up for yourself and just shut up?
Good question.
Why are you finding it hard to show up for yourself? And if we can unpack that, well, my mama never taught me how to cook. This happened when, I was touched when I was, when I was a small kid, and I'm still dealing with that. Nobody loves me, and on and on and on. And I get it. All of those are things. But I want to say, now that you're an adult and you have the power of choice and the energy to change your life, I want to ask you, why are you still finding it hard to show up for yourself? And if you really get into that, and you really dig deep, and you get in counsel, and you sit beside yourself, and you write some things out, and you get to that center of that answer, to the center of your core about why you find it hard to show with yourself. It may not, it's going to be ugly,
Yep.
but I promise you, you will survive it.
Right.
And once you have a hold of that, and you start to then put in places, procedures, and cooking, and start showing up for yourself, I promise you, it gets better. There is hope.
Well said, my friend. Well said, because I said to someone, I'm not gonna say who it was, but I said to them in a conversation, high blood pressure, arthritis, all this kind of stuff due to being overweight. And I asked the person, when did you stop loving yourself? And the person said, what do you mean? I said, when did you stop loving yourself? I said, because at some point you have stopped loving yourself because you allowed yourself to be at this point. You have high blood pressure. You're overweight. You got arthritis, and your doctors tell you to lose weight, and you still not doing it. And actually now you have gained more weight, and you still choose not to do it. This is your choice. So you're not doing it because you're doing it because you don't love yourself enough. That's what you're telling yourself, and that's what you're telling your God, that you don't love yourself enough to do what you need to do to be the healthiest version of yourself. And when I said that to that person, she started crying. Mm-hmm. I said, so what you crying for? Let's unravel that. What did I say makes you start crying? And she said that I never realized that I did not love myself, but now that you're saying this to me, I realize it. I said, okay, now you realize it, now we gotta dig deeper and see what causing you to be like this. Mm-hmm. And we stopped right there because the fear of digging deeper, she wasn't ready to do it.
She wasn't ready.
She wasn't ready. So she's gonna be okay where she's at right now because she doesn't want to deal with what's inside her. And so even if she was to try to do something, if she was to try to do the gastric bypass, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff can work for that moment. But since you still haven't dealt with the issue, you're going to gain it all back. And you see it all the time. So,
right.
But one of the things I also noticed about you, sir, is you have a ebook of smoothies.
I do.
How can the people find it?
Everyday Smoothies. They can go on chefkenny.com, follow the link, and download the book tonight. It's available.
So it's free?
Go ahead.
Is it free?
No, it's not. It's not free. It's
okay.
not free. If they buy the cookbook, it's free.
Okay.
If they buy the cookbook and email me and say, hey, I bought your cookbook, I would like the smoothie book, I will send them the smoothie book for free.
Okay.
Yes, I will.
All right.
Other than that, I think it's $4.99.
Okay.
And I put all of these are all my best smoothies. So let's talk about smoothies for a second.
Okay.
If you don't mind, is that all right?
No, because I was gonna go into that. As I prepared for you today, I was watching some of your videos, and I saw a video of you making a smoothie with raspberries and some kind of protein, all that kind of ginger, all that, and some Nutella. That's I think. So I wanted to talk to you about that.
That was one of my first ones. Yeah. Because I used to have this idea that all smoothies had to be sweet.
Right. Yes.
We love sugar.
Yes.
Even if it's natural sugar, it's just sweet. So that was one of my first ones because I love chocolate and I love Nutella. But now as a chef, and I started developing a little more flavors. I put all of that into this new book, starting with the green smoothies, because it's about recharging and rejuvenating our bodies first and getting our metabolism to the proper levels.
Right.
And so first thing I started the smoothie book off with is a detox, a 10-day green smoothie detox.
Okay.
It tastes good. I promise you, y'all. It tastes good, because I wouldn't have put it in the book if it didn't taste good.
Right.
It's important for me to people, it tastes good. But it also kind of puts you, I had a moment when I was doing the research and the testing of the recipes, Kevin. I opened up my refrigerator, true story. And I was doing all the testing for the recipes, and I opened up my refrigerator, and guess what I saw?
What?
color. And one morning it just hit me because all the oranges was in there, the orange juice, all of the greens that I tested for different types of green smoothies, apples, a banana, frozen, all these bananas, all this color hit me. And it hit me in that moment. And I think I've been sharing it here and there. One of the things is as you lose weight, you start to learn how to be attracted to color. You know what I mean? It opens you up in a way that I don't think I was. You notice how people, when they tend to be overweight, we think it's because we're trying to hide, unflattering parts of our body, but you tend to do dark clothes, black, blues, grays. That's a subconscious level of color and how you see color in your life. And so when you start to eat and have more helpful colors on your plate and what you're drinking, you start to be attracted to those colors and those nutrients. I'll give you an easy equation. Color equals nutrients equal energy.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. So when I talk about being an energized you with that particular book, it's about not even about weight loss. Because I really don't talk about weight loss, but I ask the questions. Do you have enough energy to play with your kids?
Right.
Do you have enough energy to get to the gym in the morning at 5 o'clock when it's still dark outside and the wind is hitting on my window? And I got to tell myself to get up. Do you have enough energy to go after work after doing working 9 to 5? So really start to step away from this experience about losing weight and start to ask yourself about a question. Do I have the energy to start a new business, to go back to school at night when I'm working a full-time job? And so if you start to think about your life in a source of energy and not just simply food, it opens you up to the color and it opens it up to the smoothies. And smoothies help me because I'm sure you heard a commercial that says you're not yourself when you're hungry.
Right. Yeah.
And so you and I could talk about health and nutrition and suggest that to, our clients. But if you are riding on the subway and then getting to work or in your car and you're hungry and you see a drive-through, guess what you're going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to drive through and get that food. So smoothies, especially those with protein powder in it, and ginger, you see me put all that, those things help. They're not just there for flavorings, but they're there for the body. They help you to balance your blood sugar. It helps with circulation, cinnamon and ginger as well as a spice. And really, this is how our ancestors ate. They ate with spices and with fresh food.
Exactly.
And so because we've come into this whole processed food, when you offer that, it seems like, what's that? No, the question is, what food are you eating?
Exactly.
On some level, it's not food anymore.
Right.
So I wanted to, with the Smoothie Book, put it in a way that nourish your body, something that you can drink with you to do as a meal replacement, or to add more muscle to your body, or to keep your blood sugars stable with healthy and nutrient food.
Okay.
So that's the Smoothie Book. Yeah.
All right. So we got the smoothie.
I've been busy, man. I've been busy.
I see. I need to talk to you about that too. So I want to talk about your other gift and love, which is singing, and how you have combined the two together. And I saw you did a show in DC. So it was it a show where you sang and you cooked, or what was how?
I sang and I cooked. That was a lot of work. 2 shows. I want to say if it happened, one of the promoters named David War, if he's listening to this, thank you. It was a learning experience. I cooked and I sang for 2 shows. It was 2 sold-out shows. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you, DC. And because I wanted this opportunity to kind of sing, which is my love and my passion, is what I started out doing in the church and then professionally. And then this love of food. I remember my grandmother used to have people over, and the big dinners happened after Sunday dinner and at the church. And everybody would come over and we would eat, and then a song would bust out and we would all start harmonizing, and because I have a singing family. So food and music has always gone together for me. You know what I mean? And there's nothing more intimate than being in somebody's home and sharing a meal. So that's actually what I'm doing. I'm looking to come down to Atlanta and do it. So anybody hit me up. I love to do it in Atlanta. It's called The Soul.
I will be there if you come. No, not if.
Brother.
When you come, I will be there.
When I come. Thank you. Yeah, so it's about combining those two now, my 2 passions together. And I am always amazed at how it opens up the space for people to come up and tell their stories about what their grandmother cooked, and they singing the songs and they know the songs, and there is this exchange that happens between food and music and with the audience that I hope and pray that I never get tired of. And it was really good fun. And my mom was the reason why I started doing that.
Okay. So when you did that show, those two shows, did you sing songs that you wrote, or songs that was it songs that particular artists that you really liked? Cause I did see on one of your videos and you sang Luther.
Yes.
And you did a very good job, sir. I want to tell you that personally.
Thank you.
So did you do something like that, or what did you do?
I did a few artists, some of my favorites, BB Winans. I did Luther, and I'll get to Luther in a second. Donny Hathaway, some Maxwell. And these are the guys, I mean, these are the type of voices I grew up with. No offense to the music that's out there now.
Right.
But these guys, when these guys sing, you know exactly who they are, right?
Right.
And so it was important to me. And I did one of my original songs that I wrote as well, which I'll be recording and have that ready for the summertime. And so just on an artist level, let me just put this out there. I'm having fun. I'm having fun taking off the sort of like, oh, I want to be a chef and I also want to sing. Can the two live in the same space? Of course they can. Of course they can.
Right.
And so, you know, people showing up in DC was confirmation that they could live in the same space, and that there was a space in everybody's heart and in the culture right now for food and music, and for people to have an experience that brings us together. No matter, there were all types of people in that room, and it was good to be there to sing that. And Luther, listen, Luther and I lost weight and gained weight together, and that's the truth. And so I was introduced to Luther Vandross when I was 11 years old, and I never told this story, and I'm not sure I'm gonna tell it all now. But he saved my life. He saved my life. There was a point where at 14, being overweight and a lot of stuff that was going on in my family, where I didn't want to be here.
Right.
Let's just put it like that.
Right.
And I found his music in the basement in my uncle's house, and he had this leather jacket that said "Never Too Much."
Yep.
That was the first cassette I had. And listening to his voice, something connected with me. And then I went back to junior high school, and I've been singing his music ever since. Because there's depth in his song. There's some sorrow, there's some love, and there's some joy. And so I enjoy very much singing Luther Vandross stuff. And I'm gonna say this here. I just wrote this down on a piece of paper. I'm probably going to put together a musical of just his music, and start touring with just his music. I'm working on that's like fresh. Yeah, you heard it here first. Luther Vandross story.
You should do that. You should do that. But you know what? Yeah. But what I would like to say to you that I do appreciate is, and it helped me out too, when I saw that you did the shows in DC, you did the combination of food and music, it told people not to allow others and yourself to put yourself in the box of what you can and cannot do, or what will and will not work. You know, so a lot of times we as our own individual selves place limitations on what we can do, or what people may agree with or not agree with, or we allow other people to say what will work and what will not work. And so for you to step out your own and say, this is what I'm a chef, but also a chef who loves to sing. I'm gonna combine the two. So, and you use both of my gifts that God has given me, and watch it work. You know, that just helped me say, okay, there's no limits of what you could do, you know, because I have multiple gifts that I try to balance out too. I can't say, you know, it's not like I just want to be a health coach, but I'm also this life coach, but I also like fitness. And I can't just say I just don't want to do one. I could do all of them and make it work. And so so when I saw you do that, I said, okay, there is no limits. Only limits is what we place on ourselves, or what we allow people to place on us. So I do want to appreciate you for that.
Well, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was, and I'm going to do more of that. Just to echo what you just said about the book, one of the first things I did when I was writing this cookbook was I went to a library here called the Schomburg. It's a black library for all the black artists, and it's a great library. If you visit New York, you should go there. It has a lot of our information, our history. because I wanted to be surrounded. Nobody's ever written a book in my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And not in my immediate friend group. And so I sat myself down in that library because I wanted to surround myself with artists and to remind myself that it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
That other artists sit down there and they wrote a book and then now their books are up here on the shelf. I could do it too.
Right.
And so, and I would say that weight loss, to me, to date, that's still one of the hardest things I ever had to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you really do that for yourself and you really start to be mindful of what you eat and how you self-love, as you were talking about earlier, doing something like changing jobs or moving to a new city or even creating a book or getting your brand out there. Yes, it's hard, but somewhere because you've done the work from the weight loss and you know how to show up for yourself, it makes it easier when you want to venture out into other disciplines and other parts of yourself and express that. Because when your mind starts to say, "Oh, you're not good enough," or they're gonna laugh at you, or "Who do you think you are?"
Right.
For doing that, you say, I know who I am. I'm the person that lost this weight.
Right.
I'm the person that feeds my family well. I am the person who shows up and comfortable in the light. This next part of my journey is divine, and I'm gonna walk in it.
Okay, I like that. So tell everybody what your program Eat for Life is all about.
Eat for Life. Eat for Life. That was a program I started about 7 years ago. Really, just going into the community, like I spoke about earlier, and teaching churches, community centers, high schools, and anybody. I've done classes at the YMCA as well. Anywhere where people are really looking to transition to a healthier way of life. I've been doing it for like 7 years now. That program has grown. I've partnered now with CUNY College, and I teach it on the CUNY level now about, from kids from 17 to 24. And then basically it's about finding delicious and flavorful ways to cook healthy food and to make lifestyle habits stick. And that's what I do. And that's how we Eat for Life. And it's almost like it's a mantra, eat for life. You know what I mean? You got to keep saying it to yourself. I want to eat because I want to live. And
Right.
so that is the main thing we want to do. And then I teach churches how to start their own programs and wellness programs. And we set that up. And, I give them menus. We create meeting classes, and we start to have this conversation about behavior choices and even where to shop at. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, and I'm about to start doing those probably this summer in a real way, where I'm gonna start traveling with the Eat for Life show.
Okay, so the Eating for Life show, you said?
Yeah, put a pin in the show part. Yes, but the Eating for Life, yeah, because I'm working on a few projects. I don't want to put it out there, but I'm working on. I really feel like television is a medium that I really enjoy, and so and I've had some great opportunities in that medium.
Yes,
and so
you have.
now it really is about trusting God for the next level and getting this message out, because I don't see enough conversation about how we eat as an American. And I know why that is, and we won't go into that here, but there really needs to be a show in the spirit of what Sesame Street was to a generation.
Okay.
And that taught kids how to be kinder to each other, how to learn the alphabets. Listen, Kev, there is no home ec classes being taught anymore to the youth.
No, it's not.
There's no more home ec classes. No, there isn't. And then on television, they aren't getting any cues about healthy. So when the statistics says if you are a child born after the year, I believe it's 1985, that you are going to develop diabetes.
Yeah.
If you're African American, 2 to 4, I believe. So these are the statistics that our kids are coming up with, and if you have a uneducated parent group, then that gets passed down to the child, and this is how we keep generational illnesses in our culture. And unless we speak to that in a systematic way, not in this way, lose weight, look great on the beach, that's all good, or take this pill and do that. It has to be a real grassroots kind of approach to us as a culture, how we feed ourselves so we can be healthy, so we can do the work that that's so needed right now in this culture, politically, economically, and in a sense of socially, and how we keep our families as a unit. A strong unit cannot be strong if everybody in the family is going to the doctor dealing with diabetes, overweight, and dealing with all these diseases. And I don't feel like we had that conversation in a real way. And so I'm looking forward to doing a show, entertaining wise, because I want to keep it entertaining. I want to keep the people in, but also that we have a real conversation about how we eat and how we live as a culture.
Well, let me know, because I would love to be on that show for you. But I do have a question for you.
Go for it.
I have a question for you.
Question is?
So I have a couple of friends that are chefs, and I told them that I was interviewing you, and I told them that you were on the show Chopped, and so they want to know. It's a twofold question: how did you get on, and how was your? Well, actually, a threefold question: how did you get on? How did you enjoy your experience? And did your platform escalate after being on this show?
Wow. First part, it's actually very easy to get on the show in the sense of application form. And I'll come back to that part. Just fill out an application if on foodnetwork.com. If they like what you're doing and you have something a little out the box, then you're more likely to get on the show. Okay? That's the first part. And Kevin, please have me come back to that part because I have something to say on that, but I'm gonna keep it moving.
All right.
The next part was my experience on the show. Now I did that show 2 years, almost. It's been almost 9 years. Keep that in mind, 9 years. And I did that show right out of culinary school, and the experience was amazing. It was amazing. The judges were amazing. Finding out if you could, quote unquote, make it or get the job done in a time constraint and produce the food that you do with ingredients and not knowing that whole process. It was nerve-wracking, but at the same time it was exciting. And I think if I went back as the chef I am now, I would have won, but I wasn't the first one cut. So here we go. You should know that I wasn't the first one cut. And as far as I did, to my surprise, because you didn't know what show you were doing, it wound up being a Christmas show, theme show. When we walked in the studio, it was like, what's all this Christmas stuff? And this was April.
Right.
So it was like, wow. Anyway, it wound up being a Christmas thing where all the recipes had to be of a Christmas theme. And I got an opportunity. That show forever changed me, and I'll tell you how. I got an opportunity to sing. The producers came to me and they say, we know you sing, and so we want you to sing Deck the Halls. And we're gonna work it in. And I'm like, okay. And I did that. And after I got chopped, as you watch the show, you see how it unfolds.
Right.
As I'm leaving out the door, one of the judges says, I think it's Betticelli, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. She says, keep cooking. And the other guy says, keep singing. And when I look back now, God has always told me that. That's what they said as I was leaving out the door. Keep cooking, keep singing. And now when I look back at that tape, and now that we fast forward to me doing the shows in DC, it's like, that was it. It was always there, that presentation.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the seed was the seed was planted then, like 9 years ago.
The seed was planted then.
Yeah.
The seed was planted then. So I'll say this, and I mean, this show, I did that show back in 2007. To last year, they still show that show.
Yeah, 'cause I saw it last year too.
And I can always tell when it's on because all of a sudden my phone starts going off and a whole bunch of lights start happening. So to my point, one of the producers said to me, said to all of us actually, whether you win or not, your platform is going to change because people are going to want to know who you are. I can tell you now that those same people who saw me on that show are the same people who just bought my book. They've been with me through the years. And each year my platform grows because now I have people from Zimbabwe say, we love you over here, Chef Kenny. It's gotten that far because of a single decision. I decided to be on that show. Food Network is a great opportunity. And I all these chefs out there, if you have the opportunity to get on the show, use the platform and share your message of food and how it's different.
Good. So now let's go back to the application process. You said told me. So what you want to tell them about the application process?
The application process, if we can just get a little technical, up until that point, I'm a visual person, I'm a production person. And as I was filling out the application, and I think I can say this because this is my experience, but a lot to the entrepreneurs out there, especially chefs who are just starting out, sometimes how we're excluded, I'll keep it in general, from certain things is because we don't have the proper paperwork. All right. Okay. For you, some people that could be degrees, that could be a certificate, that could be training, that could be whatever that is for your field. When I was filling out the application for Chopped, I had a resume, I had a chef resume, I had professional pictures that were done of my food, I had professional pictures of myself, and I had just began this Eat for Life brand, and so that was my message. And so what I would say to the chefs out there, if you don't already have it, I really could want to teach a class in this at some time. You really have to decide who you are as a chef and what you're bringing uniquely to the culinary field. A lot of people out there cooking. So to be on that level with Food Network, what they want to know, and even in any entrepreneur or any job want to know, what do you bring different to the market? So I'll just say, before you go out and fill out that application, just make sure you have everything in place. The professional pictures, now you can do that with your iPhone. Right. You get you some good lighting, you can do good, but there's no reason to submit bad pictures. Get your stuff together. This is a new year, it's a new game, and you almost kind of got to come to the table. And I don't want to discourage anybody who's like, oh, I don't have all of that. Well, do the best you can for now, but know that they're looking for they're not looking for the rough as much as they want you to come with your own point of view. They can deal with the rough, just have a clear point of view. Okay. I like
that because they, they were super excited to know that I'm interviewing somebody who's been on Chopped, and I guess it's like, for whether it's Chopped or Master Chef, those type of all the other type of shows. Yeah. Those type of shows, they want to do it, and they, because they know it can help their platform, help their business, all that kind of stuff, and so what you just gave them was the valuable information, because I guess they really didn't know what they probably really truly needed to do, so they could catch the eyes of the producers and stuff like that of Food Network. So now what you saying, okay, make sure that you have professional looking pictures, a chef resume.
Your food and yourself, a chef resume.
Yeah, yes. All that, then that will really help them, because I think a lot of times people don't have a good resume, let alone a chef resume that's specific to what you do. And so for you to say that, it's going to really help them do what they need to do to make that necessary step. So for them who may be a little bit fearful and taking that jump and doing it, what would you say?
I would say get over yourself. I think if it doesn't scare you, you shouldn't be doing it. And even though I'm definitely a way better chef now, I'm still glad I brought the Kenny I did to that opportunity, because to be honest with you, you ever been smacked in the face? It smacked me right in my face in a good way. Okay. To say, okay, Kenny, if you want to play on this level, this is how you got to bring your skill sets up. And so talk about self-development. We talk about it in the weight and how we eat and how we show up for ourselves. There's also a professional way that you have to start showing up for yourself. And this could be any discipline. You want to be in radio, you should be interning somewhere. You want to go to culinary school, that's a great opportunity. So sometimes I think because I had natural talent that I felt like, and I believe you have to have that. But at some point when you're in the next room, Billy Porter, a guy who I've done shows with and I love him, and he says it. He said, you know who Billy Porter is? I'm not sure if anybody knows what it is. I do. Okay, yeah. He's a great guy. And he said something that has never left me. He said, at some point when you're doing well, and he's a Broadway singer, movies, television, he was just at the Oscars this year. He said, at some point when you get in the room, there's going to be everybody in the room who can sing, everybody in the room who can dance, and everybody in the room who can act. What are you bringing different in the room? Because now you start to get these opportunities, and everybody in the room can do all three of those things. And so the chopped experience had me say, okay, everybody on my panel could cook. Everybody on my panel had something that they brought uniquely to the culinary world. What was my point of view? And so I just would say to anybody who's embarking on something that makes them a little nervous and fearful, good for you. That means you're probably going in the right direction. But also take the time to do, and it doesn't happen overnight. I've been in this for 10 years, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people may see a picture pop up here and there, like, oh, you know, congratulations, and I'm thankful for that. But it took me 10 years to be kind of clear about what I wanted to offer. So be clear about what you want to offer to not only the Food Network opportunity, but if you get that opportunity, what is your platform after that?
Well said. And I want to piggyback off of that. So you've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing what I do for 6 years, and it's a journey. And I think a lot of times, because you working in your passion and your purpose, that we tend to think it's going to automatically just click for you, and not, you know, and everything's going to happen right away. And instead of understanding it's a journey, and in that journey you still learning and growing as a person, as a, you know, artist, as a coach, and all that kind of stuff. And so, because in part of that journey, you know, for you to become a better artist, as a chef, as a singer, it's preparing you for the next level that the universe is sending you to. You know, every experience that I'm going through or been through is preparing me for the next part of my journey that I'm going to be reaching. And so I think a lot of times too, when you said that, it really clicked that, you know, I think people want everything right now. And when you in your purpose, a lot of times it's not going to come right now. It's because it's going to be a lifelong journey. And so, you know, now you start to see 10 years later the fruits of everything that you're going through. But like you said, the idea of you singing and cooking at the same time was 9 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
The seed was planted. Yep.
That seed was planted 9 years ago. I just did a wellness empowerment event for men in Greenville, South Carolina, like a month ago or 3 weeks ago. That seed was planted in me 10 years ago. That was something that God wanted me to do, and I had dreamt for myself, but somebody else came with the idea and reached out to me. But that was 10 years ago. And so, but it was like, it happened at that right moment, because now I'm ready. You know, your show in DC happened just now because you're ready. So
yes,
I don't think if they were told, if you took the idea when they said to you at Food Network at that moment, I don't know if it would be how it was when you had it in DC.
I totally agree. I had to grow into everything that you said, and all those opportunities and experiences. You have to fall on your face.
Yep.
You know, sometimes I think we need to talk about the failures as much as we talk about the wins.
Yep.
I love something Kevin Hart said was, all you're seeing right now are all the yeses. You're not seeing the no's through the years, and all of the comedy tours that I was turned down for, and all the free comedy stand-up things I had to do. Nobody's seeing me lugging my food shopping cart to a client's house when I first started my catering business.
Right.
You know, getting on the subway. And then, you know, now, it's in my contract. I get Ubers now to my contracts and to my events. But that took time for me to make that happen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And all of the hard work and developing my flavors and being true to myself when I had clients who sort of like, well, you're Black and so you do soul food. No, I don't do soul food in a traditional sense. I think those chefs who do that food, they do it well. That's just not the type of food that I want to share with people.
Right.
It's an experience of that. It's an extension of soul food, but it isn't soul food. And I had to, I had a moment where I was like, well, maybe I should be doing soul food, because You know, you get discouraged. You start like, well, I thought at one time I would be a lot further doing soul food because I do soul food very, 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 very well.
Right.
When I cook it, you know what I mean? So I was just like, Kenny, this whole healthy nutrition thing, nobody's really picking up on it. You know, it seems to be a thing that people, as you shared your story, when they need it the most, or when they're at the breaking point, or they're sick, or their back is hurting, or now they're pre-diabetic. And I want to help people before they get to that point with this cookbook. And so not only with the cookbook, but in everything that I do, that it's all about how do you live a better and a happier life, and all the work that goes into making that choice for yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's a choice, it's a decision. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just happen to put it in a cookbook format, but it's a decision.
So, what type of dishes are going to be in the cookbook? I know they are play off of soul food dishes, but I know you specialize in lunch fix. Can you give us some ideas of different type of meals you have created?
Yeah, one of the things, in my view, there's a lot of value here because it really could be 2 or 3 books. But I wanted to make sure that I gave everyone a full experience when it comes to, I say lunch food, but this food can be anytime.
Okay.
So without beating you over the head about eat this and eat that, it really starts out simply where I was at, like, here are some sauces. So I really love sauces, but here's a way that you can make these sauces, like an avocado sauce, a smoked avocado sauce, or a chili sauce, or I even got some wasabi mayos and some bacon, chipotle bacon mayos, all these different type of things and condiments, as we're calling it,
right?
Lunch add-ons that you can have in your kitchen. That should already be stable. If you have these sauces, if you make all the sauces and have those ready to go, it makes cooking a little faster, and I'll show you what I mean. So then I move on to, like, okay, salads. You can do that to travel well, because again, eating, one of the things I'm sure you heard, that eating is healthy costs a lot.
Yep.
So I address that, and I address those type of things in there. So I show you how to make a quinoa salad with bell peppers in it. You know what I mean? And that same sauce, the red pepper sauce, now you can use that on the quinoa salads, and I got all different types of green salads in there. Then we move on to sandwiches because I like sandwiches.
Right.
And
I do too.
I put in some of my favorites, like my version of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which I love, which is done on whole wheat bread. It's done with almond butter, strawberry preserves, and bananas, and cinnamon and nutmeg. Man, that thing is so good, but again, full of flavor, and it doesn't feel like you're missing out something. Because I grew up on Wonder Bread in my peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right.
And I didn't think I could, and so when I stopped white bread, because I don't eat white bread, I thought I had to give up peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But now I found my love back for it, and I shared it in the cookbook. And then I move on to protein shakes. But my protein shakes, in my view, kind of tastes like milkshakes. I love milkshakes. And so it was important to me that they be rich in flavor and in nutrients. Sort of like I got a protein called the Going Green. And so it's just about this green smoothie that you should drink every morning before you go out the door or anytime. And I show you how to make that really good. And it's loaded with, almond milk and apples and a nutmeg and ginger, all that good stuff. And so you don't even feel like you're drinking a smoothie.
Right.
You don't even feel like that. And then I move on to the little more into the lunch for plated meals.
Right.
So we're talking about plated meals now.
I saw, did I say correctly? Did you make a black eyed peas?
I made black eyed peas, because I grew up on black eyed peas now.
Okay.
But I do mine. I do them a little in a fresh way. I do a little chorizo because I like pork. People's like, how you got pork in the book talking about healthy eating? What is healthy? We're gonna have a moment with that one time. We're just gonna have a whole show about what healthy is. Because if you ask different people in the room what healthy is, it would be a different answer
for everybody.
Now, I just before this interview, I had some French fries. Now, some people may say, "Oh, that wasn't healthy," or "Did you put them in the oven?" No, I didn't put them in the oven. They taste better fried. That's the way I like them eat. But I ate a salad with it, and I drank water. Right. So, is it unhealthy? And I'm at a comfortable weight. So, really, this thing where we have to demonize food like ice cream and sugar and chocolate really doesn't have to be. It's just some of those foods you should eat some of the time.
Right.
Is that simple?
Right.
So in the recipe in lunch part, I got fish. You know, I got my version of fried chicken in there.
Okay. So do you fry it or do you bake it?
I fry it.
Okay.
I fry it. People are like, well, you know, I fry it because it's fried chicken. One of the things is, let's take, like, if somebody brought me reduced chocolate, I would spit out them. But I don't. If it's supposed to be chocolate, let it be chocolate. If it's a fried chicken, let it be fried chicken. Same thing with macaroni and cheese. Here's the thing. My fried chicken, one of the things I'll walk you through is 2 pieces of thighs. This I had to find out this information. I love thighs.
I do too.
Pun intended. And so 2 thighs has about a half a cup of grease in it.
Wow.
That's like a half a cup of grease you're putting into your body between the skin and the grease that gets trapped in the skin. It's about a half a cup of oil in 2 pieces of fried chicken. Body doesn't know what to do with that. Again, that's another show. So I did my version of fried chicken because I'm from the South. I did not want to give up fried chicken, but I did want to do it in a healthy way. And I think this is indicative of all of the recipes that's in the book. So what I do is I take tortilla line chips.
Okay.
I put that in one, flour and egg. That's called dredging. You would dredge it. So you dredge it through the flour, you dredge it through the eggs, and you put the tortilla chips on it, and you kind of crunch it, and you fry it up. No skin is involved. It's white meat from chicken breast, and it's a lighter. It doesn't hold as much grease, and you still get that crunch of a chicken and all this great flavor. And so I share that in the book because I wanted it to be real recipes that people will come in and eat, and not some version of healthy food that, because I'm trying to just put healthy food out there and that nobody's going to return to.
Right.
If you don't return to the food, you won't.
Did you make that recently? Because I think I saw a video.
I did.
I saw a video cooking that.
Yeah, that's on my IG page.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure that out. Yeah, okay.
Dude, my clients, no matter what I cook, I can do some amazing food, but all my clients say, you gonna make the tortilla chicken? So it's become my signature dish, actually. And I did it when I was in DC, and everybody went crazy. So if you don't get the cookbook for any other reason, you want a healthier way to do fried chicken, then I got you. But I'm hoping that you take in the smoothies and all of the salads and all of the great items in the book.
Okay, I do have a question for you. Miss Felicia wants to know from you, is there a certain time you should not eat fried food, such as after 6? What's your thoughts on that?
Having been somebody who tried all the fad diets, cabbage diet, don't eat after 7 o'clock diet, cayenne pepper water diet, any kind of diet when I was heavy, I did it. This is what it'll be true. If you eat poorly, doesn't matter if you do it after 7 o'clock or if you do it at midnight.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Food is food. There is a bio individuality. So what may be good for me may not be good for you.
Exactly.
Okay. So I can't give one statement about what you should eat. You know, some people still do milk. I can't do milk.
Right.
And most African Americans
cannot.
Do milk. But some people still push through it, and they do because of what they want to do. But when it comes to fried food, if you're eating a green salad with it, some kind of roughage that your body knows how to process that along with the fried food, I found, just for me personally, it works better. Right.
I would agree. I'm a really big on bio individuality. That's why I was taught in health coaching school that it's wrong for us to put everybody in the same box because everybody's biological makeup is different. So what works for you may not work for me. Like, so I do agree with you that it doesn't really make a difference with time. Because if you're eating bad, you're eating bad. It's gonna make the difference. But I do say if you're going to eat poorly, if you're gonna eat something fried, at least put some kind of greenery with it.
Yep.
And and drink some water behind it so it won't be completely bad. I think that's where we fully mess up at. We'll eat some fried food, but we eat completely bad. So like I didn't get like how you said you had some fries.
Oh yeah.
With some a salad,
a green apple salad,
and some water.
That's dinner. I'll do a protein shake before I go to bed, and that'll be it.
but it works for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you
It works for me. Yes.
still in good condition, all that kind of good stuff. So for each, so what's so you gotta find out. And I'm gonna talk to Miss Felicia on the side. She gotta find out what works best for her, and that's what I would recommend too. So
I mean, with fried foods, this is and I talk about it in the book. Once a week.
Yep.
That's what I do. Fried food once a week, maybe twice, but I really recommend just eating it once because it really isn't a helpful cooking method.
Right.
And it's so, especially in the Southern way, it's some way, especially during lunch. Getting back to lunch, most of that food is fried because it has to be quick and get you out the door, back at your desk. Right. So if you're doing fried foods at least 5 days a week, that is 5 days in some kind of form. Need to be in the fried rice, fried chicken, fried wontons, something fried on your system every day in some kind of form or fashion.
Right.
That is a lot of
oil.
That's a lot of oil. That is a lot of saturated fat. That is a lot of everything on your system daily. You never give yourself an opportunity to let your system rest. This is why I recommend protein shakes, breaking that up throughout the day to make sure you flush yourself out and you rejuvenate your body.
I agree, and that's why I'm really big on smoothies, especially in the morning, because you want like your body a chance to we're eating all the processed food, all the fried food. We don't give our body a chance to heal. Because we overworking it with all these processed foods, all these fried foods, and all that kind of good stuff. So. We got
artificial fillers and flavors that the body doesn't know what to do with that.
Exactly.
So you have to give it something to heal itself. Yes,
I do agree. So what's next for you, sir?
What's next for me? I'm so excited. What's not next? I would say just to promote this book really throughout the Southern Belt this summer. Mm-hmm. To do that and really to start this conversation, this national conversation with people about health, not weight loss, but health in a real way. Yeah. Because I'm talking about, health insurance. I'm talking about, because prior to being in, the chefing thing, I was in healthcare. So
doing what?
Now I'm seeing.
Doing what?
I was a billing manager for a medical practice.
So, okay,
yes.
So that's funny because before I started doing all this, I was in healthcare as well. I was in health insurance. And so now I was an underwriter, so I create the rates. So I have a clear understanding of how things works and all that kind of stuff like that. So that just shows you that we really need to link together and do something for real because we have a whole different mindset from our prior experiences to make them understand, it's for real.
It's real. It's real. I mean, working in 20 years, I also taught I-79 coding on the college level. So the coding for it and just understanding coding and seeing different people come in with different illnesses time after time. And it really started, I started that when I was 24, really about health and how, and I'll just say this because I know you were going to ask me a question later before we end, but getting out of this mentality being in healthcare that your health is something that happens to you and not for you. If I don't do anything before I leave this God green earth, is to share and encourage people to know that your health is something that can happen for you and not to you. And I feel like in our community we are used to it happening to you. Oh, I got diabetes. That's it. Or I got this ailment and I got that. Versus I can eat and be mindful of the foods on my plate, which puts me in the driving seat of how my health goes, and thus in turn how I spend money on insurance, what kind of ailments and how many days I'm missing from work, how sickly or health or in good health my family is. It all speaks to across the board. So I'll just leave it there for now.
Because and I'm going to put this on my notebook. I gotta follow up with you because this is something that really need to be talked about. Because from my end, as an underwriter, if you per se would have insurance through me, and I was, you part. Let's just say you work for your hospital or your billing group, and you were someone you was 270 pounds, you have high blood pressure, you was diabetic, you are high risk to me. So then, therefore, I'm going basically on your diagnosis. I'm going to increase your insurance because I know for a fact you're going to be using our insurance a lot due to what you got going on. And so people don't realize that, because when you start going to the doctor, those medical records come in, we start seeing these diagnoses. Okay, if you got kidney issues, you already know your insurance going up.
Yep.
Because you're going to be using it a lot. Every year's gonna go up. So people don't have to understand that. So you have to make a conscious choice to try to do something different. So because if you, like you said, they all want to say eating healthy is costly. But so is eating badly and having higher insurance, health insurance, higher paying all this money for medications, all that kind of stuff. So I'd rather pay more for food to eat healthy than to pay for higher insurance rates and all that kind of good stuff. So hold me accountable, sir. We're gonna have to have this conversation. I will hold you accountable. Please, sir.
Let me just say a little bit on
Go ahead.
Being overweight is costly. It's costly on a spiritual level. It's costly on a life level. And now what we were just talking about, it's cost in the sense of your family. And I've seen time and time again, people spend money on what they want: hair, clothes, resources new cars and everything. And when you bring up the underwriting and health, people are like, oh, I don't smoke and I don't drink, and take some pride in that, but you're feeding yourself junk food.
Yep.
And so they don't understand that you're just as high risk as somebody with kidney disease.
Absolutely.
Or even HIV.
Yep.
So they don't really understand that the mechanics of that. And so when we're talking about right now in the healthcare about pre-existing conditions, and you're watching this language go on, and you don't think it's about you,
yes,
sir and ma'am, it is about you.
It's about you.
It's about you.
It's about you.
We need to start talking about that in our community.
It's about you because
it's about you.
If you, depending on your insurance and who you got your insurance through your company, they may say we're not gonna start covering them, and off the rip because they might have pre-existing conditions. So if you got high blood pressure, you are diabetic, that's a pre-existing condition. So then therefore they're gonna put a hold on you for like 90 days before they start following, actually paying for your coverages. People don't understand that.
That's happening for real. I know a couple of companies, high-end companies, I won't say now, who are starting health initiatives that they're getting smokers off, therapy, and because they found that basically the lifestyle of their workers impacts how much they pay out in health insurance.
Exactly.
And so they're getting incentives. They're doing it right now. It's an incentive days. Okay, we got gyms, we got workout and everything. But if you don't do it at some point, imagine being discriminated because of your credit, which is already a real thing. With a certain credit score, you can't get certain jobs. I believe where healthcare is going, with the single payer and pre-existing condition, depending on what party he's in, it's going to get to a point where you're going to get denied based on your health.
Yep. And and a lot of companies they can't use your health or how you or your presence if you overweight as a reason why they won't hire you. But trust and believe that's part of the problem, because they gonna automatically see you're gonna be a bill for them because you're not healthy. And
let me say this real quick. A little fun. I remember when I was overweight and I was working in corporate. I told a buddy of this and we started laughing. When I was heavier and I had to dress up for work, people would say, "Oh, somebody's all dressed up. Where are you going?" And I remember after I lost the weight and started wearing clothes and feeling good about myself, people start saying things like, and maybe you notice this, Kevin, "Oh, where the party at?"
Right.
Or "Where you going?" Yeah. Somebody look good. It's sadly as a society, but it is what it is. We make judgment calls based on appearance.
Yep.
And I have clearly said this, and I'm saying this to the church folks, and maybe they listen to this broadcast all the way through. Hopefully this is for you. I know so many amazing people who have a work to do, even outside of the church. When you stand in front of a group of people and you are trying to sell or offer something, and what their appearance is that you can't even get a hold of your weight, it is a factor in how they see you and about your believability in your product.
Right.
And what you're offering. And I've seen that time and time again. So I'm just saying, I'm saying this from an encouraging kind of standpoint for your health, for financial, and for the work and the purpose in what you want to do, your weight matters. It matters. And if you're ready to start that journey and being more accountable about what you want to eat and feeding yourself better, I'm here for you.
All right. So before we sign off, I want you to do a couple things. Tell everybody how they can find you on your website, social media, and then after that, whatever's on your spirit, I want you to take this moment to speak to the audience. Go for it.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Chef Kenny, Chef Kenny Minor, MINOR, and any other information on chefkenny.com. It's all the same. What's been on my heart lately, we kind of talked on it, and I just want to say to the people who are ready to start this journey to be a healthier and happier them, there is hope. There is hope, and there is a brighter you. You asked me about what that aha moment, I told you it was another one.
Right.
The other one, when I had an aha moment where I was face to face with myself and with my weight in the room and distraught about what had just happened with me in the room, eating all that food in one night. And I had a moment, Kevin, and what I saw was my spirit, the version of the Kenny you're seeing right now, crying out. And just to try to say, hey, listen, this is not the best that you can be. There's so much more we want to do. And so what I'm saying to the people and to your listeners out there, there is a part of you that is crying out for more, for better, for more connection, for a healthier, a happier and healthier you. And I want to tell you that you are possible. And that's the most thing. Before any diet, before stopping any food at this time and all of those different constructs get in your head, you have to believe that you are possible. And I want to here to tell your audience that you're possible, and there's a whole world out there waiting for you. You just have to show up and believe it's possible. And it starts with the food on your plate.
I appreciate that, player. I truly appreciate it. You brought the fire as you always. Before I go, I want to say this. It resonated what you just said, because Christine Gale just said, I am possible. So she really liked what you just said. So I agree with you. We have to understand that we are worthy. And we have to understand the greatest health, the greatest wealth we could ever give ourselves and to our children and our families is the wealth of good health. And it's something that you said that reminded me when I first started this journey in coaching. If we take our health as seriously as we take our clothes, our cars, our houses, our makeup for the ladies, our hair, we will be in a better and healthier condition. Our health and our personal development of becoming our best selves, we put that in the back burner. It's not a priority with us, but we're going to go see Beyonce and pay that money. We're going to go and buy that, the girl's going to get that hair, get that weave, get those wigs. They're going to get the makeup. The guys going to buy their clothes. They're going to buy those Jordans. They're going to have those whips. They're going to do all that. That's important to them. That's a primary necessity for them. But then when you ask them about their health or their personal self, that's not priority. And at some point today, hopefully today, we start making that a priority. Let's not wait until we go to the doctor and you say, okay, the doctor tell you diagnosed being a pre-diabetic, or you diagnosed with congestive heart failure, or you being diagnosed with high blood pressure. Let's stop being reactive and be more proactive. So let's start doing it today. So go and buy this man's book so you can't continue having an excuse of why you can't eat healthy, because he's giving you healthy versions of soul food that you gonna have flavor, but it's still the kind of food you like to eat, but it's gonna be a healthier version so you won't feel like you're missing out on anything. So we gotta stop creating excuses of why we're not going to create the healthiest version of ourselves, because that's all we're doing right now is creating excuses. You know what our parents went through and what our parents knew or did not know, our grandparents did not know. We can't use those same excuses because it's too much information out here for us to not know. So it's up to us to now make the conscious choice to choose to be better. And that's what I want to leave out to you today, is to choose to be better. Start today. Well, this has been the Wellness Architect Show. Your boy Kevin Thornton. I want to thank Mr. Kenny Meyer again for a great show. This will not be the last time you will see this brother on my show. I'm going to put it out there. He's going to come to Atlanta and he's going to do a show. And when he comes to do a show, this time he's going to be in person next to me on the show. Or he's going to come down to Atlanta to learn his book, and then he's going to come in person and we're going to talk. Either way it goes, he's going to be down here sometime soon. I appreciate you, dude.
All right, appreciate you too, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night to your listeners.
Good night. Peace out.